Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brummel.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brummel, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon of the Bonati Spine Institute, Dr. Alfred Bonati. Thank you for being here.
His mic is off again. You're good,
And
Doc.
we have our executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre, here with us.
Glad to be here as always.
And our senior fellow,
He's back.
to my right, Jeff Wagstaff.
In the flesh. Good afternoon.
We missed you for a couple weeks. Well, I mean, by missed, you weren't here. I didn't
Right.
actually miss you.
Don't.
Poor Jeff. I love you, buddy. You know this. What, Doc?
What's up, Doc? No.
Thanks. Dr. Bonati's got my back.
I guess so. Sheesh.
That sounds even worse.
Whoa!
And on that note, actually, not a laughing matter. It's very serious, the stuff that we talk about on American Medicine Today.
It is.
Dr. Bonati has helped many thousands of people that were suffering with either sciatica, herniated discs, slip discs, migraines, something called RSD. And it's I'm not exactly sure what causes it, but I know a side effect is that you can swell up in certain areas. And a lot of chiropractors tend to see people that suffer with that, and they don't have a treatment for it. But one of the amazing things with the Bonati spine procedures is that it can relieve the pain. It works on RSD and its long-lasting effects. And when we talk about patient satisfaction, it is true patient resolve, not just that we performed a surgery, but it's that it worked. It was a successful surgery. And a recent 7.5-year patient survey reflects a 98.75% rate of satisfaction.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Exactly. Nothing is 100% in this world, but this is pretty darn close to it. Dr. Bonati had started off in traditional open back surgery, and he realized that there were issues with what was happening with those surgeries and not getting the results that were needed for the patients. So he set out, and it took him years, but guess what? He figured it out, and he created his own patented methods and the instrumentation to make it possible to bring true patient resolve. With that said, Bonati succeeds where others fail. And coming up on the show, we're very excited. Some really high-tech technology. We have CEO of ReWalk, Larry Jasinski. Did I get that right?
You
Ethan?
got that
okay.
right. Yep.
They have a revolutionary technology that's called ReWalk. And what this allows people with spinal cord injuries and paraplegia to stand, walk, hold hands, and be fully functional people. And he's going to be coming up on the show to talk about that.
It's basically robotic exoskeletons. It's almost sci-fi, but it's a reality now, and it was just approved by the FDA for home use. So
unbelievable.
So if you or someone you know might be paraplegic, you'll definitely want to listen to Larry Jasinski today.
Good stuff. And then we'll hear about what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
well, I'm proud to introduce patient Marcy Sharman. She is calling in from Vero Beach today. Well, thank you for joining us.
I'm delighted to be with you.
Oh, thank you. Now, why don't you tell us how you came to be in pain and kind of walk us through the process of, what caused it, what were the symptoms you were feeling, and then how eventually you made your way to the Bonati Spine Institute.
Well, I've been thinking about this. I've probably been in pain for 25 years. It's a very long time. I'm a musician. I play the piano and I teach music, and I teach from my piano predominantly. And I think that the static position at the piano has caused a lot of neck and upper back problems for me for many, many years. I've tried, different pillows, a better bed. I've been to the doctor for x-rays, etc., over-the-counter medication, heat and ice and physical therapy. And it just wasn't ever really getting better. And over the years, I started to sort of lock down. My hands and arms became very tingly. I thought I had carpal tunnel. because I was losing my hands. I was starting to lose my ability to really to play the piano, which is my job.
Right.
And it's also my I play at my church, so that's a great enjoyment for me as well. So I was really starting to lock down. I couldn't turn my head.
Hey, Marcy, I was actually just going to interject because while you were speaking, I had sort of a flashback memory of when I was in middle school, and our music teacher wore a brace on his arm all the time because he had really bad carpal tunnel from years of playing, the piano and the flute and all of these other things. So that's a pretty common injury for a musician, correct?
Yes, very common. There are books out about how to play pain-free. I've read them all, trust me. But yes, I think it's very, very common. And I think from what I can understand, and Dr. Bonatti, you can certainly correct me on this, but I think it's because we sit so still and we don't actually get a lot of blood flow and oxygen to the muscles, and so they start to break down, and the body does strange things with that. And so I was just totally locked down. So I went to my regular doctor, and she took an X-ray. My shoulder was killing me, so they sent me to an orthopedic doctor who was wonderful, and he said, let's do surgery on those bone spurs in your shoulder. Okay. A couple of months after that, I'm still in terrible pain. So I went back to him, and he said, I think it's your neck. So then we did some injections, injections for pain medication right into my cervical spine, my neck, to try to alleviate the pain, and it still wasn't going away. And
did it end up limiting you as far as your job?
Yes. I was. If you were to talk to some of my friends today who knew me then, today they're like, you stand up straighter. Your color is better. You look so much better. You looked bad there for a while, Mrs. Sharman. So it was very limiting. I was starting to think that maybe I was not going to be able to continue to work or be a musician for very much longer because I was just locking down, really.
Were the local doctors able to pinpoint where the pain was coming from or diagnose anything other than those bone spurs?
They said, you have minimal bone spurs in your shoulder. You have some arthritis in your neck, but, they didn't really give me anything that made me think, there's hope. It just was, not really, no real good, clear picture of what was going on in there.
Marcy, the problem that you had is a combination of two areas that were in pinch. One is because of your work, you need to really move your fingers and you tighten a ligament that is in the base of your hand that is being called the carpal ligament. And that carpal ligament becomes thicker and thicker because of the exercise, and that press the nerve and create some of the symptoms that you have. But at the same time, you have another problem. You have a problem associated with your neck. Those areas that they were affected were affecting the median nerve and part of the ulnar nerve. So you have the whole hand compromised. So when we did the procedures and we decompressed those areas, that create a freedom of your nerves, and sometimes that is enough in case like this. Sometimes we don't need to operate the carpal tunnel.
Right. Oh, it was fabulous, Dr. Bonatti. When Dr. Grossmith opened up those areas, wow! It was amazing. The immediate return of sensation and strength in my hands. It was incredible. And I found out about you from a woman that I work with, Mina Spadaro. Her husband, Greg Spadaro, found out about you from somebody that he works with here in Bureau. And she told me about you, and I was like, well, what have I got to lose? I have everything to gain by just a phone conversation. And I have said this before, and I will say it again and again and again. From the very first person that I ever spoke to on the phone at the Bonatti Institute to today, every single person that you have in your organization is as kind and caring as can be, and knowledgeable about what they do. And you have made my whole journey with you just an incredible walk of healing.
Hey, Marcy, don't advertise that when I will need to pay bigger salaries.
Okay, I won't say that anymore because they'll get a big head, right?
Hey, Marcy, so you had Dr. Grossmith.
I did.
And I'm assuming you had pretty much immediate pain relief after your procedure, correct?
Yes, they did. He said it's stenosis, and so he went in and did. I've had 4 procedures for stenosis and for amyotomy. I think I'm saying that correctly. And 3 in the cervical region and 1 in the highest thoracic region. And I can now bend down. I can move my arms. I can turn my head. I can look out my back window when I'm driving my car. You know, it's been a real godsend, a real relief. I'm unlocked. I was locked, and now I'm unlocked.
Dr. Bonatti, this condition was caused by her repetitive motions as a musician playing the piano?
The musicians, they need to have in a specific position on the chair. They need to sit very tight, and they need to have some posture, not only to look good, but at the same time to have some strength on the arms. And that sometimes affect the neck, and other times affect just the carpal ligament. And in her, both sides were affected. The good thing was that the major problem was not the carpal ligament, was just the spurs and the deformities of the stenosis. As soon as that was open, immediately the nerve regained the function, and she was okay.
So how are you feeling today, Marcy? Bring us up to the present. Pain-free, feeling good, back to work?
Oh yes, I have not missed a day of work due to any Bonatti procedure. I did 3 of them in the summer, and the last one I did last January, actually on a day off from school. Okay, I did miss 1 day because I had to stay overnight and meet with Dr. Grossmith in the morning. But I was back at work. I had a surgery on Monday and was back at work on Wednesday.
That's fantastic.
Excellent.
Pretty incredible.
All right. Well, once again, before we let you go, anything you'd like to say to Dr. Bonatti, Marcy?
Thank you, and God bless you.
We love you, Marcy.
I love you too.
All right, Marcy, we appreciate you joining us on American Medicine Today. Another successful back-to-life story and continued pain-free living.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Back to work. She's actually calling us from she's a teacher, and she works in the school and stuff like that. So it's nice to see that she's back with the kids and working on that.
You know, this is the thing that sets the Bonatti Spine Institute apart from other facilities. We don't just help address somebody's problems at the time, but we are with them through every phase of the aging process. So that's why we have a lot of return patients. When they start getting things like stenosis as they age, they come back to us to help, and we're always there for them. You're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. We're going to just be talking about new things we're doing with American Medicine Today coming up after the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone, nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for listening to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonatti Spine Institute. I am here with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti. We have Jeff Wagstaff and Ethan Euchre. Now, there was a subject that we heard about, and it had to do with a New Bern, Tennessee student, Kendra Turner, where apparently a fellow student sneezed, and she was just being polite and said, "God bless you." Mm-hmm. And the scandal that transpired was that I think she was kicked out of school for a week.
It turned into a major altercation between the students, not even just the one student who said "God bless you." The other students, after the teacher were going back and forth, and she said, "Get out of my class."
Right, I won't have any godly talk.
There will be no godly talk in my class. Yeah, and even the other students stood up and said, "This is not right. You know, you can't do this. This is freedom of speech." Mm-hmm. And the teacher said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing, but the teacher said something like, "Freedom of speech doesn't exist in my classroom."
Right. And
okay, this is still America.
Right.
I think, right?
But the students actually stood up and said, "But you don't trump God."
Yeah.
And I, for one, am in total agreement with that.
This young lady was punished, but was there any collateral punishment for the other students in the classroom?
No.
Not that I'm aware of. And I know Doc's really passionate about this topic, so let's bring him in.
Well, I really think this is not an abuse against the freedom of speech. This is also an abuse against the girl. The fact that she's being punished and removed from the school for a week is really dangerous at this age to target somebody like that, because then the person will not think straight again, will be with some sort of a frightened to present any type of their own points and defend their own points. So it's a lot of damage to the psyche of this kid. The worst thing here, these are grown-ups. Mm-hmm. They are irresponsible grown-ups that we have in our schools. These individuals, everyone on this system, from the teacher that is Eva Kindle, should be immediately removed from that school, and she should lose her position. Mm-hmm. And we will make the next week some type of a reach this group to see what happened to her and what is the situation, and if she's still teaching. And this is something that the parents association and the groups that they are there, like the religious group that is there, they should force this person out of the teaching community, because it's dangerous to mishandle a student like that. At the same time, what happened with the assistant principal? The assistant principal name is Lynn Gardner. She should be also removed because she back up this action. That is also irresponsible. These are all people. These are people that they are mature people, that they are teaching this, and then they go and they act in this way. This is an irresponsible behavior bringing this type of political system or religious system in the school. They are there to teach, not to indoctrinate. And this is the problem that I see.
Just to jump in real quick, apparently the teacher, we've now heard from the students in the class that this is not the first time that she has tried to make the students feel bad about their religion. She has brought it into her own classroom. So I find it awfully ironic that when somebody does something just as a common courtesy, God bless you, that she is so offended.
Yeah, but what happened with the school superintendent? I mean, what happened with Dwight Edger? Okay, he is responsible of these type of situations and should immediately bring the situation to a dead point and punish these individuals that they are indoctrinating our kids. This shouldn't happen. And the worst part of it, where are the parents? This country is becoming like a sleeping giant in everything. They're a sleeping giant in education, they're a sleeping giant in race fights, they're a sleeping giant in medical health care, they're a sleeping giant. 70% of the population of this country is Christian. What's going on with these people? Why they don't stand up and say, look, if you're going to treat my kids like that, we need to remove all our kids from this school and close the school.
True.
Well, I think there's also a big difference between saying "God bless you" to a fellow student out of politeness versus if, say, this student were standing in the hallway with their Bible out preaching to the students. I don't think that necessarily belongs in the school either, because that's a little bit disruptive. Everyone is entitled to their own religious beliefs and whatnot. So there's a time and a place. My problem comes with the fact that there's really nothing religious about saying God bless you.
No,
it's just a common courtesy.
Now, just to clarify, the young lady was suspended, I'm assuming, for a week. Was the reason given because she used the term God bless you, or was there an altercation between her and the teacher that then got her suspended?
Apparently, they were saying that the teacher was upset and it was being disruptive that she said, God bless you. But it wasn't like she yelled it from across the room. She just politely had said, God bless you.
Yeah, and the teacher told her higher ups, the principals and assistant principals, that the student was being a bit aggressive after being confronted about it. But the other students
agreed with the student.
Right, and said that wasn't necessarily the case. So
those parents should be at the next school board meeting in force, taking a position for that student.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So.
I know that you're trying to look at this one like a social type of a behavior on the young student. It's not the same. The action of the teacher. The teacher is the problem here. It's not the student.
I agree.
Okay, so even if the student is saying polite or is a social gathering there, the maturity of the mind of the teacher is insane, and that is something that we need to look into, and this teacher needs to be removed.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll look into it a little bit further for you, Doc, and see if there's anybody involved.
And let's talk about this one. Let's make a television program to so go national.
Okay. We'll make a spectacle out of it.
Well,
that's my specialty. Making a spectacle of things.
You are listening to News Radio 970 WFLA, American Medicine Today. If you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. Keep in mind, we are now national on Fox Business Sundays, 5:30 to 6 p.m., and here locally, WFTS Saturdays, 7:30 to 8. We'll be back after the break to talk to Larry Jasinski, CEO of Rewalk Robotics.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. I'm joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute, our executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre, and our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff. Now, we're all very excited. We have Larry Jasinski, and he's the CEO of ReWalk Robotics. And ReWalk is a personal exoskeletal system cleared by the FDA for home use, and it's just revolutionary technology that helps people with spinal cord injuries. If they have, if they're suffering from paraplegia, it helps them stand, walk, and really kind of get back to life.
It's amazing. When I saw this article, I thought we have to talk to the people behind this technology because it's, I said it before, it's like right out of science fiction, but yet it's science reality now. I know Larry, he's actually out in Israel right now, so that's where he's joining us from. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay? I may need to make this a little louder somehow.
You're good.
We can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
Good, good.
Okay.
You're a little on the, I can't hear you that well.
Okay. Well, why don't we, perfect. Why don't we just get into telling us more about ReWalk? I mean, it's just amazing technology. This is something that I take stemmed from rehabilitation centers first, and then through the process, now it's for home use for those that are suffering from spinal cord injuries.
That is correct. Important with the FDA, this was the first and only product approved for use in a rehabilitation center in the United States. So you would go there first, learn if it works for you, and if it does work, the FDA clearance also extends to community use, so you can use it at home, at work, going for a walk down the street, or in the mall. So it is a very practical technology that was intended for everyday use.
And now, Larry, this original concept came up from an Israeli doctor, correct, who ended up being a quadriplegic after an accident.
That is correct. He is a doctorate, but he's actually technical. So his undergraduate and graduate degrees are electrical engineering and physics. So he's not a medical doctor, but he was a prolific inventor. And it was a combination of other things he had invented and his skills And once he became quadriplegic, he looked at the wheelchair and felt, that product really hasn't changed in 2,000 years. Better wheels, better seat maybe, but other than that, fundamentally it's the same. And I think it's a remarkable story that this man who's a quadriplegic built the initial concept in his home with friends and family, and it was used at Tel Shmir or Sheba Medical Center here in Israel initially before it expanded to the larger clinical trials in the United States and Europe.
Why don't you tell us how long it takes someone to train on the ReWalk so that they're used to moving around and can actually take it home for their own use? Is it something that takes quite some time to do?
Yes, you really have to learn to use it properly because we want this to be something they can use every day and have a good life experience with and get healthier because of it. The average number of sessions that someone has in order to be proficient is about 15 sessions of about an hour to an hour and a half each. We've had some that has been much less and a few that have been much longer. And frankly, it's not always predictable. Some people get up and walk in the third session, and others it takes a little bit longer to get really comfortable for them to be independent in their walking ability and where they're going.
Is this something that's motion activated, or does it kind of walk for them? Why don't you describe that?
This is a device that on its own would not walk, and obviously the individual on their own cannot walk. This is truly a man-machine interface. And to simplify it, this uses a motion sensor, which is an important patented technology, that when the user moves their upper body, it tells the machine what to do. And if you think about it, if you're sitting in a chair, when you get out of that chair, you normally lean forward just a little bit in order to stand. You can't go straight up. It's no different from this walker. They will lean forward just a little bit. The motion sensor will pick it up and have them stand. And the same thing is true when you're walking. As long as you bring your shoulders forward just slightly, it will measure that just like when you normally walk, and it will make the next step. When you want to stop, you straighten yourself. It's a very intuitive device, but it's completely controlled by the individual using the motion of their upper body to tell the device when to stop, start, turn, sit, stand.
Then it's done by motion of the individual, but it's not done by a brain command.
The command for this comes from the motion sensor to the other key part is a very extensive algorithm in the computer that we spent many, many hundreds of hours on human gait to try to replicate or mimic human gait, and we looked at vertical ground force, so the way the foot hits the ground, heel to toe, and pivots, and we did everything we could to mimic natural gait. And so that brain, in this case, is the computer that is allowing them to walk in the same kind of motion that anyone who's not injured would be walking down the street.
That will be something so incredible for the paraplegics because we'll allow them, or the quadriplegics, because they will allow them to total independence on their actions. Am I right?
It does. It gives them independence. So they use some crutches for balance in this. One of the key elements when you look at this exoskeleton or any exoskeleton, it's about more than walking. It does change their metabolism and it changes their health. And we are finding in our clinical data that the health benefits of this are very significant in terms of what it does to the GI tract, reduction in urinary tract issues, reduction in need for medications, and reduction in complications. And that's part of the economics for this. It is seen very likely that this will save money for the insurance industry because people will be healthier and have less complications because they're getting exercise by walking in everyday life.
Just as a lateral knowledge, I understood also that some of the motions that they do are like a superhuman power, so they can lift heavy stuff and things like that. Is that correct?
That is true of some of the military things that are done. This is not really designed in that way. It is designed specifically for paraplegics, and we have versions for quadriplegics, which are not yet FDA cleared. So this can move a person that's up to about 220 pounds, but the extension of this particular technology to other things is not yet been our focus. We're very medically focused at this time, and are not doing the things in sports or defense related industries.
Okay.
When I was reading some of what was written in the press release, I think it talked about a gentleman saying he was able to finally hold his wife's hand, and just to do simple things like giving somebody a hug. I mean, that really has to do wonders for somebody's mental state.
Unfortunately, you broke up on that, so I was unable to hear all of your comment.
Okay. I was just talking about on some of the news release about your product, it talked about how the people using the ReWalk were not only able to walk, but it was helping them in more of like a mental, emotional state, because they were able to hold their loved one's hands. They were able to hug somebody. And they're just simple things that normal functioning people take for granted, but these people that were wheelchair bound maybe couldn't move in that way.
Yes, that has been an incredible experience as we've gotten to know the users. I'll give you two examples. I spoke with the wife of one of our ReWalkers, and she said, "You've given me my husband back. He has gotten healthier. He has gotten happier. He is no longer depressed and on his own. We go do things together. You rebuilt our family." So that's one of the stories. And when you brought up the idea, one of our other walkers, she comes from a big family. She has 11 brothers and sisters, and they were used to being physically close.
Yeah.
And she actually did this with President Obama. She walked up to President Obama and said, "How do you hug your wife and kids?" And his answer was, "Well, I put my arms around him and give him a hug." And he goes, "Well, think about somebody in a wheelchair. All you can really do is bend over and maybe tap them on the back. You lose human contact." And President Obama said right back to her, says, "I get it." And he gave her a big bear hug, and it was a wonderful thing to see. But more importantly, when you could stand, you can put your arms around somebody and feel the human contact that is lost somewhat if you have to live in a wheelchair.
Well, everything is very, very, very good, except the hugging to Obama.
I knew as soon as you mentioned President Obama, Larry, that Doc would have a problem with that. He's not a big fan. One quick question before we let you go, Larry. Again, Larry Jasinski, CEO of ReWalk Robotics. Who is kind of the ideal candidate for one of these things? Someone who is military, recently paralyzed, I'm sure, because they're still relatively strong, or could it even be someone who has been in a wheelchair for 10, 20, 30 years?
Unfortunately, you broke up again, but I think, were you asking how long the equipment lasts?
No, I was asking sort of the ideal candidate. Can it work for someone who has recently been paralyzed, or someone who has also been in a wheelchair for decades?
It is our age group of people that are using it around the world range from a low of 17 to a high of 61. Some of our best users have gone 15 or 20 years without being able to walk. The key is for someone who's injured, if they have made efforts to get in standing frames and devices to continue to put pressure on their bones so that their bone density is such that they can stand again, and that their blood pressure is such that they can stand up without fainting. Those are key things. So if they've done a little bit of work to keep themselves in shape, this really applies not only for people that are newly injured, but clearly we've had great experiences with people that have 10, 15 years or more post-injury. So it really applies for all. The specific limits are height. You need to be between 5'1" and 6'3", and weight. You have to be less than 220 pounds, and again, you have to have bone density and be able to stand up without any lightheadedness. And other than that, it applies for almost anybody who is paralyzed.
Can this technology work for other conditions like MS or ALS?
We absolutely believe the platform will extend to many applications, including MS. That is a key next focused research area for us, and we will begin clinical studies. From a professional point of view, we've done extensive clinical studies, more than any other company, on paraplegia. We will do the same types of things for MS, for possible stroke applications, CP, and some other areas. So that is the future. I think you're going to see these exoskeleton technologies help in many either injury or disease states. That's a tremendous goal that we all have in this industry.
And quickly, can you sum up what you believe the cost of this ReWalk robotics machine will be?
If the unit that you take home right now is priced at $69,500, and we are doing two things. We are providing data on what it saves to the insurance companies, so we believe that this will save money to the healthcare system, and we are working extensively with different groups to get reimbursed on this. One very important thing that just occurred about 10 days after the FDA cleared the ReWalk product, the Veterans Administration at the James J. Peters VA in the Bronx put out an official policy statement from the medical director that they will pay for this for veterans that are successful in the program at the VA Bronx. And we also have other insurers outside of the United States that are covering it. So our belief is that there will be some insurance coverage over time. And if you're a veteran today, it would be, as I said, if you went through the program at the VA Bronx, New York, you would be able to get a unit provided to you.
That's fantastic. All right, Larry, and if people are interested listening to the program, how do they get in touch with ReWalk? Larry?
You broke up on that, but if someone did have an interest and wanted more information, if they did rewalk.com,
okay.
We would have someone on our staff, either a clinician or somebody else, get back to them and answer any questions for them at all.
All right, very good. Well, we appreciate it. Very groundbreaking technology here. Larry Jasinski, CEO of ReWalk Robotics, rewalk.com. Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today, sir.
Thank you very much, and we really appreciate your interest in the technology.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Groundbreaking. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Just very cool. That has to be the coolest technology that we've ever discussed.
Yeah, that is pretty fantastic. If people want to get in touch with Dr. Bonatti and they're having back, leg, or neck pain, how do they do so, Kimberly?
Well, they can reach out at 855-267-0483, or they can visit Bonatti.com. Coming up after the break, you're going to hear what's new in American Medicine Today. You're listening to News Radio 970, WFLA.
Cool. Yeah, we went like 2.5 minutes over, but...
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre, Jeff Wagstaff, and world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti. So let's get right to it.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonatti, MD.
It's all you.
Well, I need to continue talking about healthcare because doctors they are suffering the consequence of this disaster, and the problem with the doctors is also the enormous amount of abandonment that some of the patients are receiving. Mm-hmm. The healthcare is a fraud. This individual lie to the country and lie to everybody associated with the healthcare just to get reelected. Mm-hmm. And the problem that we have now is this is just votes. But the situation today, the impact of the cost of the healthcare is outrageous. Is totally we cannot sustain that amount of expenses that are going to come from it. Mm-hmm. And the worst part of it is that approximately 8 million people they signed for this. But from the 8 million people, 4 million people were people who had insurance before.
Right.
And then from they said that they are going to put 20 million people in the healthcare. Well, look at the lies. They got 4 million people really that they signed that they are not paying for because these people are not paying. They don't have the money to pay.
Right.
So they are false numbers. Then they have 4 million people that they destroyed from their own insurance that they were in their hands. And these people now is going to acquire these exchanges, but they're associated with insurance companies.
Right.
So the insurance companies are jumping on the system to support what the disaster of Obamacare. Right. And then the other 12 million people that are on the system, these 12 million people are still people that they are insured. Now, the problem that I see with this is these people gain coverage through the Obamacare, but really is costing the money to Medicare. They are taking the money for Medicare to do this.
Right.
So the whole thing is a scam all over. When you look what they are doing with this is nothing more than look with a big lie to obtain the Democrats' positions so the ignorants and the lazy ones can vote for them.
Feels like a Ponzi scheme.
It is.
To me. Well,
it kind of is.
You know, I wanted to quote something here. We have Malcolm from Malcolm Out Loud. He sent me an email, and it said 140 polls later, Obamacare is the most unpopular. Well, I say go figure. That was something we already knew. And it said that it was a topic of national radio over the past 2 days, and it was named on the IRN network along with leading physicians that are not amused with Obamacare. And all polls indicate that it's one of the biggest failures. One concern, though, in conversations with health insurance companies is public perception. They don't want to be perceived as the bad guys. Yet all indications are that there will be hefty price increases over the next 2 years, and this will be a game changer as the industry attempts to lick their wounds from this horrendous rollout of nationalized health care. My response? Well, I tend to think that maybe they, and by they I'm meaning the insurance companies, should stop trying to do dirty side deals with this administration.
And the other thing that also I agree on the misbehavior of the insurance companies, and one of the things that we need to really put together is the fact that the discrimination against the pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
That is something that needs to disappear. If you have an insurance, it should cover these things.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, the other one is the age discrimination. Then suddenly now they're just trying to say you are too old, then go ahead and go to Medicare. And wait a minute. If you go to Medicare but you want to have an insurance, a solid insurance, and you don't want to belong to Medicare, you should have the freedom to do that.
Correct.
All right?
And your Social Security shouldn't be part of that.
Exactly. You need to have the freedom and remove from the government this monopoly on healthcare. You cannot have, if you don't have enough money, okay, let's get physicians, churches, communities, and insurance companies work a system so the people who need help can have help. We have that one before in the country, okay? But then suddenly now the government gobble up all these things and does not have service. I mean, if you are serviced by a healthcare on Medicaid and you have an acute problem, you have a 90% of possibilities to die. Not only because the service, the training of the physicians, and the quality of service that you're going to have. If you have the same problem with a private insured patient, is 100% you're going to survive. This is something that needs to be on the hands of the public.
Right. And that was a study by the University of Virginia, I believe. That's the one you're quoting.
That's correct.
Unbelievable.
Now, Doc, do you think that, real quick, we only got about a minute left, but do you think that we are really only going to have to deal with this for another 2 years, and then we get Obama out of office, we get a Republican president in there, they overturn it, get affordable health care out of there? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I really think we need to start to really look at the political system in a different way.
Yeah.
We need to look at the political system that the politicians are individuals that belong to society. They have the same rules in society. They should eat the same food that we eat. They should have the same health care that we have. They have no situations of privilege. And they should work for 4 years, if they are excellent, 4 more years, and then they go home and live with the laws that they created. I promise you, if I'm a politician and you give me this situation, I will act noble and correct.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonatti, MD.
Good stuff as always, Doc. And I'm working on getting us a legal expert. I have a guy who knows a ton of attorneys all over the country. He's going to find us the perfect person that can tell us what we would need to do to get term limits changed.
That's absolutely perfect.
All right.
Can't wait.
I figured you'd like that.
Yes. Well, if you are sitting at home and you suffer with neck, back, leg, sciatic pain, give us a call at the Bonatti Spine Institute at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonatti.com. They have true patient resolve. Now, exciting stuff. Fox Business News. We're going to be on Saturdays at 5 to 5:30 p.m.
Awesome.
Airing the radio show on Sundays, Fox Business, 5:30 to 6. And here locally, ABC, WFTS Channel 28, 7:30 to 8 p.m. And of course, you can hear us on American Medicine Today here on News Radio 970, WFLA, noon to 1 on Saturdays.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.